How you doing, small town machine shop? Anybody else out there? How's it all going? It's Saturday night. I figured, what the heck, I'd see who's all willing to talk about anything, talk about something. I threw a few invites out there. I'm looking for some company up here on the panel. I hate being alone. I get lonely. What's up, Lakes? Yeah, I figure I'd post a couple shorts today. It's an interesting day to say the least, Lakes. But as always, I always like guests on the stream. So I'm going to post the link. If anybody wants to jump in, even though it looks like you're the only one on right now, Lakes. If you want to jump in, Lakes, I'd be more than happy to have you jump in. How often do you see Russ like that? We only got 2 in so far. We need more viewers. Good conversation always brings people in. It's good to hear, small town. You saw some of my shorts today? Most of them had to do with rust, and one of them, I don't know if you saw the one, Lakes, or small town. The kid actually had a car towed to us because he said he needed a radiator. That tow truck was dropping it. I actually walked out there and I was like, why are you dropping this car here? And he's like, well, it's what I'm told to do. I'm the tow truck driver. They tell me to drop it here, drop it here. I'm like, all right, you can drop it here. We're just going to get it towed out of here. This thing's done. It's over. That thing was so rusted, there's nothing that could fix that. And it was all smashed up. Radiator was pushed straight up against the engine. Just needed a radiator, though. Wonder where everybody is tonight. It's not that late yet. How rusty does unibody stuff have to get before it's scrap? I don't know if you saw the one of the rear cradle I was doing on the Mazda 6. I don't know why that rear cradle is so rusted, and everything that was connected to it was so rusted, because the rest of the car actually is in very good condition considering. And I think that was a 2009. The front cradle's clean. The unibody's all clean. I mean, it's got some surface rust, but rust gets, well, when the unibody itself is rotted out, on top, the cradles. How you doing, Chris JRS? The unibody's rotted out on top, the front or rear support cradle. And if your car is only like a $2,000 car to begin with, yeah, it's shot. That's when we tell the customer, no, it's unsafe to repair. It's not worth repair. But that one I did a rear cradle on is I'm still doing the rear cradle. I'm waiting for a few new fasteners and a couple other odd end items, parts to go on the back of it. But that car is very much well worth fixing. I don't know why the rear cradle rotted out so badly, because the rest of it is pretty good shape. I don't know if it missed a coating from the factory or what. But anybody who would like to pop on tonight, you're more than welcome to. You don't want to show your face, that's understandable. You can still pop on though. Cheers. Just a couple beers. I'm not going to get whacked out tonight or any other night. Maybe I'll just go get my whiskey. We'll have a lot of fun then. I'm going to go check my emails, see if I got them all out. Give me a minute, guys. Yeah, the emails all went out. You got a party going at your house? Or their family get together or something, Chris? Well, we have a big player out here in Michigan that is Z-Bart. They love to sell people on spraying it with that black tar-like undercoating bullshit. And that is probably the worst thing you can do on a car that's seen moisture already, because all that does is lock it all in. But there's a few places that do rust proofing, oil-based rust proofing. We have a couple Crown services that actually the company is out of Canada. It's Crown, Krown, I believe. Crown rust proofing, and it's reasonably priced. I get my truck sprayed. I think last year when I got my truck sprayed, I got to get it done again. I think they charged me $150 to spray the whole truck. They do drill a few holes so they can get in your get down in the rocker panels and all that crap, into the body cab and all that of the truck. I drive a full-size Silverado, but they take out your taillights, all that. They spray all inside your cab, your bed, everything, a whole underneath of it. And it does, some of it does wash away, but it does definitely make a hell of a difference. And we also have a couple of places out there using fluid film. They'll use the clear one or semi-clear one, or you can pay a little extra and you can get a black fluid film sprayed on it. The best preventative maintenance for rust in our area is getting it sprayed with one of those oil-based systems, either fluid film or Crown rust proofing. And you got to get done yearly, but it does work. It stops a lot of rust. It just pushes the water and the crap. It just doesn't let it sit on it. A lot of people don't try it out because, oh, you got to do it every year, but they're probably up to $200 a year now. But $200 a year, if it actually works, it's cheap. That's cheap maintenance to avoid total rust out. What's up, Frosty? You want to jump in? I think I threw the link up. You should still be able to see it. How you doing this weekend, Frosty? How you doing, Shannon? Yeah, it is. It is definitely cheap insurance against rust on your vehicle. Like I said, there's another big company out there, and there's a few of them out there that like to spray that black crap. All right, Frosty. They spray that black undercoating on it. It's real hard, and they tell you, "Oh, we'll do it for life," and they keep touching it up once a year. But I find that causes more rust than it stops. It just covers it up. I've seen frames in my shop. Like I had a Chevy Colorado, the frame looked perfect on it. They just had like 6 months prior to that, just had their undercoating touched up by Z-Bart. It's a black rubberized undercoating that gets real hard and brittle and just eventually starts flaking off. They had it touched up. I went to go lift the vehicle and the frame started cracking right behind the little extended cab portion, like probably about 4.5 inches in front of the leaf spring. It's literally started cracking the frame. I had to stop lifting it, but all that rust, all that Z-Bart undercoating did was hide and cover up the extreme amount of rust that was there. I've heard of the rhino lining for rust proofing. I don't know how well that works. Like once again, it's another product that if you have moisture stuck into the metal, that metal's unable to breathe. So you're trapping that moisture into the steel. Where the oil-based products are still allowing it to breathe, but it's repelling all the moisture in the water. It's possible rhino lining right out of the dealer would work, but I don't know how well it would work on a GM truck frame because the GM truck frame is dipped in some type of wax coating. I forget exactly what they call it. So if anybody knows what it's called, let us know. But it's like a wax coating they dip their frames in, and eventually that dries up, gets hard and brittle, and it literally flakes off the frame. So if you spend all this money to get it rhino lined, and so many years later it just fell off the frame because the original wax coating that, say, a GM factory put on their truck frame, if it just fell off, I mean, I'd be pissed if it just fell off. And he spent a fortune on a rhino line rust proofing job. Today was a very interesting day at work. Every car I touched was a rusted pile of crap. I still like the one. I don't know if anybody saw the short. The customer brought me their Explorer, complaining about a loud noise in the rear of the vehicle. And I can't believe there's no play in it. But the left rear bearing is just screaming on this Ford Explorer. And I took the wheel off, and there's like nothing left of the axle or the axle nut. And I showed the customer, and you know what the customer said to me? "What did you do to my vehicle?" So what do you mean, what did I do to your vehicle? Well, you're the last one to touch it. And I'm like, I already looked in history, and one of our guys did a battery on it 8 months ago. Other than that, you've never been in our facility before. I said, I didn't do anything to cause this to your vehicle. Well, how did it happen then? It's called there's nothing protecting it, and you got way too much salt water in there for way too long, and it rotted it out. I haven't even looked to see how many views those videos got. So anybody got anything good going on this weekend? Hopefully it'll be nice out tomorrow. Maybe get some work done outside. Every time I'm off on a Sunday, it rains here. Yeah, he did. He said I did it. I caused it rust on his axle. Go ahead. You're more than welcome to jump on. It's always easier when you got others talking. Do you still see the link, or do you just need another one? Wedding anniversary was yesterday. Hung out with Mrs. Frosty. How long you, Mrs. Frosty, been together? So how you guys doing?
Good. Good.
Oh. That was just the phone and not you.
Yep, just a phone.
How's everybody doing tonight?
4 years? Well, hopefully it's been a good 4 years. I'm doing good. How you guys doing?
Doing good. Staying busy.
How often do you see cars like that, Lakes? Like you use his camera too? What part of the country you work in or live in?
I'm in Washington State.
How much rusty crap do you see there?
Not a huge amount. They do heavily salt the roads here. But I work more on rusty old farm equipment than rusty cars.
Technical difficulties. How's everybody doing?
Real good. What kind of car is that heater core leaking on, Frosty? Well, I didn't really get blamed for finding the issue. I just got told, "What did you do to my car? How's it so rusty? My axle not unidentifiable." Well, I wish I could answer that. I didn't do anything to cause it.
I couldn't even see a pin on that castle nut.
Yeah, that thing was
Well, I
gone.
tell you what, I could have probably got it off. But you'd be amazed. I took my air hammer to it first, with a pointed bit on it, and vibrated the hell of it so everything fell off. And then I seen if I sprayed it down heavily, and I'd have slammed the socket on it and see if I could rip it off. But sometimes it just tears the living hell out of the axle shaft. I've had to burn them out before with the torch, which wouldn't have mattered because we were already doing. He already wants a bearing done on a new hub and bearing. Which I don't know how often you come across those on the rear of a Ford Explorer, but they're not the easiest ones to do. They like to fight you a little bit. It's a press bearing.
Yeah, I hate press bearings. I don't know why they still do it, you know.
Did you see the picture of my Ross, you see the picture on my live I had up?
I'm sure I did, but I got a bad short-term memory.
That's a Dodge Durango.
Oh, the dash.
Yeah, there's no
Yeah.
dash with the Dodge Durango.
Yeah.
Believe it or not, I'm doing that because I have a collision shop I'm working with that's way the hell behind, and all I'm doing is throwing a new dash pad in because the passenger airbag went off and the insurance company's fixing it.
Yeah, I don't care much for dash work either.
But we got a collision shop that we're real tight with, and he's got a guy on vacation, and I guess 2 of his guys came down with the flu. So
Yeah.
it's like, is there any way you guys can sneak this in and throw the dash pad on it? And then while you're at it, throw a new airbag on the the airbag went off on the steering wheel and on the passenger. For some reason, the curtains didn't go off. I don't understand that. But the dash pad blew the passenger airbag on the dash pad. Of course, it took out the windshield. They had to put a new windshield in it. And it blew the driver's airbag module up.
Yeah.
So they provided all the parts, all brand new stuff for it. And they just asked me if I could change out the dash pad while I'm at it. I told them because the steering column's got to come out of the car anyway to do the dash pad. And they're like, "Is they were going to put the new airbag in the steering wheel?" And I'm like, "Just leave it there. I'll take care of it."
Yeah.
So it's all part of the job anyway.
Yeah. Hardest. Normally the only time I'm doing anything like pulling a dash out is because of a heater core.
Heater core, revamp core is usually the only reason I'm ever doing it.
Core, but I think the hardest one I ever did was it was a Land Rover Discovery, or I think it was a Discovery. But just, I don't know, 4 or 5 bolts there at the end. Probably took me an hour to find out where they was. Couldn't figure out what was hanging it up, why it wouldn't come out. It sucked.
I think one of the worst ones I ever did on an American car. It's stupid ass design. It was on a Chevy Camaro.
Oh yeah.
I literally called over to a shop not too far from us that specializes in heating and cooling, like AC work.
Mm-hmm.
And I asked them about it, and they're like, "Oh, we just cut the support bracket in the center of the dash. The hell with that." So I was reading the procedure. Part of the procedures is remove the windshield.
Oh wow.
Because there is a bolt that comes down that's quite long, and it comes down through the center of the dash. That's like a center support brace. So you have to take the windshield out to access it.
Wow. For a heater core?
To pull the dash off for the heater core or the evap core.
I mean, there's some that you
can. I showed it to the boss, and he's like, "I'll call a window company out here."
Yeah.
I'll price it out, let the customer know. We'll call a window company out here. So I'll have them pull the windshield. You do the work, and when we're done, and have them come back and reinstall a windshield.
Yeah.
We'll have to throw it into the price of the ticket. I don't want to cut any support brace.
What year was that on the Camaro?
What's the last body style they made?
Yeah.
So all of them with that body style.
I haven't ran it. Of course, I haven't did one in a later model Camaro. But
the new Fords with the center console are a pain in the ass. The new GMs with the center console are a pain in the ass. You got to pull the seats out.
Yeah.
The seats hold down the center console, and you got a billion parts when you're done.
Yeah, they ain't none of
they design stuff like that.
And then there's a couple. I'm trying to remember what vehicles. Is it a Ford or is it a Dodge? Ford or a Jeep? It's Ford Escape.
I've done plenty.
You got to pull the doors off. Because they got bolts that go on the side of the dash. They're too long. You can't get them out. But the doors come off real easy. The worst thing is you just got to find a place that's safe to put the doors while you're doing the job.
Yeah.
So the doors don't get damaged. I mean, getting the doors off is like as easy as just unclipping that main harness.
Yeah.
At the unibody or whatever you call the body of it, and I think you gotta take out 2 like 10 mil bolts, and the door just slips right off the hinges, and you just got to find a good safe place to print the door.
Yeah.
But I still
Yeah.
think that kind of work.
I do all diagnosing now, so I haven't been doing an actual whole lot of manual labor lately. Some, but about 30 hours a week I get on 25, 30 hours a week I get on actual turning wrenches, and about 25 hours of diag, 30 sometimes. So
I'm usually doing mostly diag work.
yeah.
I do it all, whatever they need me to do, whatever they're running behind on.
Yeah.
And they always get time on the diag work, so
Yeah.
sometimes I jump to other shit.
Sometimes I feel like I'm getting screwed on the diagnosis stuff, but
Like say my secondhand man or my other guy that's supposed to be an equal to me in the shop. He's from South Carolina. He's only been in Michigan for like 18 months.
yeah.
And yeah, if it's real rusty, he looks at it like, nah, give it to Dave. I've been doing this shit for 28 years.
I tell you, some of that stuff sucks, bro. Especially if the bolt gets frozen inside of a bushing.
Oh, you know how long it took me to get that stupid subframe off the back of that stupid Mazda 6?
That stuff sucks.
Did you see that one?
Yeah.
That subframe, and that's everything else in that car is pretty damn clean.
Yeah.
If it wasn't for the fact I was trying to make a short, I would have like took a very close look up at the hole underneath of the car and been like, how did this rear subframe get so rotted?
Yeah.
Everything else is fine. I don't know if it missed the coating from the factory or what happened, but
A bad batch of metal, maybe. I don't know.
the front doesn't even look close to the rear. I mean, the front's still solid as a rock. It's still got black paint on it and stuff.
Wow.
And just that
When you do your estimates and stuff, do you factor in that when you tell a customer how rusty it is?
Yeah, we threw an extra couple hours at it. We told them it's an open ticket right now, all depending on how much shit we had to replace, how many bolts, how many fasteners, and we gave them a rough estimate, and it told them that it can fluctuate a little bit, and we'll let them know every step of the way how much it's going to fluctuate. And the only reason we got into it is because he said whatever it takes. You guys said the car is worth fixing, and you'll keep it. You gave me a good estimate, a rough estimate. And we have about $800, $900 cushion on this job. So whatever my service guys threw at him, if we don't need, which so far doesn't look like we need nearly as much as we thought we were going to, he's going to be very happy when the actual final quote for the job comes out, probably at least $750 cheaper than he expected.
Wow.
Oh,
Like I said, we threw a
that's
big
awesome.
we threw a big cushion on top of it. We didn't want to have him, he had to agree to that price. And we told him we would adjust accordingly. So we're not going to lie to him and say, hey, I'm just going to throw up a number. I don't even know what the number is. Say you approved 2,200, but if it's only going to cost 1,600, we're going to charge you 1,600 for all the parts we have to put on. I'm just throwing up an example. We're not going to lie to them and tell them, yeah, it's the 2,300, 2,400, or even though we didn't need to go any further. We'll stick to what we told them. We'll bring it down.
Yeah, and that makes a customer for life. If
Oh yeah.
if they come in there expecting this and then they come out cheaper, definitely get.
Well, we never like to sell a job and say, hey, if everything goes well, it's going to be $580. But if it doesn't go well, you have to understand it could go as high as $850, maybe $900. And they say, oh, okay, I understand. Now, when you hit them and tell them it's going to be the $850, $900, when you said it's only going to be $580.
Yeah.
So you're way better off to start at the $900.
Yeah.
And then when it's $580, you're a hero.
Yeah.
Or if it's $600, you're a hero. But because you told them $900. But when
So
you get
as
into shit
rusty
like
as with as rusty as the stuff you work on there, when it comes to like brake lines and stuff, is it pretty much just at your discretion as they need to be replaced and all that?
Yeah, I take a close look at them, and they're shot to shit are really, really pussy. I show them to the customer, man. Leave it up to them.
That's all we can do is
I show them.
it's their final decision.
Certain cars, I do a lot of brake lines on Chevy trucks.
Yeah.
We buy that whole brake line kit. Dorman sells a kit. I think we always get it straight through the dealership because Jim actually sells a kit, and they're already pre-made lines. Not that it makes the job any easier, because it just says it's got little spots, straight in here, straight in here, straight in here, but you're still feeding from the ABS unit that say behind the driver's seat, all the way from there, all the way around the front up to the front of the car, across, up underneath the radiator core support, back up and over to the right front wheel. So I mean, it's not like the easiest thing just to.
But at least you're not having to flare and flare the line stuff.
Just you got to know which lines to do in what order. But it is what it is. But we do fabricate a lot of our own brake lines. That's the truth right there. Frosty's got it nailed. Under promise and over deliver.
Yeah.
Not under deliver.
Yeah, that's where shops get in a lot of trouble, is over promising and under delivering.
Yes. We never over promise and under deliver. We do our best not to do that.
Yeah. Our last service advisor, he got us in deep. Lost quite a few customers because of him, from over promising and under delivering.
See, that's one thing that's different. Like, you ever watch Flat Rate Master?
Yeah, like I've never seen no actual work out of him, but I watch his talks and stuff.
Yeah, well, he's had some videos where he did some work and stuff, but not a whole lot of them. But like in his shop, it seems like there was some tension between service writers and the techs. The I don't know what you want to call it. The shop manager.
Yeah.
And say himself, the shop foreman and the techs. Our shop, the owner of our shop runs things differently. We have like a shop manager who works very closely with the techs. And our service writers are at the mercy of the techs, the top 3 techs in the shop, or 4, say, our 4 main techs, and the shop manager. The service managers they don't allow them to basically push us techs around and say, hey, I promise this job for here and here and here. No, we tell them when we can roughly get it done based off the workload we have, but try to get a little extra time over and above what we're telling you.
Yeah.
We don't deal with service writers that tell us, well, I told the customer it'd be done by 5 o'clock today. Well, that's your fault. I worked at shops like that. That's your fault.
Well, you should have checked me first.
You know how much other stuff you sold and promised?
Yeah.
So we basically don't. Our service writers basically come to us and ask us, when do you reasonably think you can have this done by?
Yeah. Same here.
And that's what they tell the customer. Because when it worked the other way around, where they were able to dictate time, that's where there's over promising and under delivering.
Yeah.
They would sell 5 tickets. I have 3 guys selling tickets at my shop, or 3 people. Don't have to be guys. And 3 of them might sell a ticket. I might have like 3 cars inspected, and each writer gets a different ticket of mine. And all 3 of them are on the freaking phone. They're checking out stuff. I've already got it priced out for them. We price our own tickets. Well, not totally price it. We pick out all the parts we want, and we
Yeah.
make sure the labor's correct, and then they review it and they double check it. But what's up, John? What's up, Diabolical? Nice to see you on. But who's I going with this?
You write your own tickets, basically.
Yeah.
And they review it.
I worked in a situation though where, and even the shop I'm at now, that's how it was when I first started there. And I have 3 guys who finally get to all these inspections that have been done by us techs, and say 3 of them were mine. And I got 3 salespeople, and they get on the phone, and all 3 of them promise the car to be done by a certain time, no matter how big or how small the job is. All 3 of them promise their customer the job at the same time, done by the same time. They walk back and give me the tickets, and they'll be like, "Here, this one's sold. I told them it'd be done by 5. This one's sold. I was told it'd be done by 4. This one's sold. I told them it'd be done by 5:30." And I'm looking at the clock. I'm like, "It's 2:30. Don't you guys communicate with each other?"
Yeah, if you would have got these at 8 o'clock this
I
morning.
said, "All 3 of you. I'll pull them together." I said, "All 3 of you just sold tickets of mine, and they're all promised for today with just a few hours left in the day. I mean, I'll stay till 8. I don't give a damn. I'll stay till 9 if I have to. But you guys got to talk to each other." Well, that's when we switched it all. They come ask us.
Yeah.
And then we say, "Well, are you anybody going to talk when you talk to this I mean, what customer are you?" Basically, now we're set up where basically I have one main sales guy. Every day when I go to work, I have one sales guy that's going to handle my stuff.
Yeah.
So he knows everything that's going on with Dave. And the other sales guy is going to know everything that's going on with Jason. And the other sales guy is going to know everything that's going on with Ramaz. And that's how we run it now, because, and then they come talk to us. It's not like just a total clusterfuck,
I think it's a Honda S2000.
which it was a total clusterfuck at one time.
Honda two-seater like mine. It's lime green and it's a manual. And so I had to
What's up, Turner?
laugh.
You know, having some more tacos for supper seems to be my dish of the week. So
That's all we ever see you doing is eating, brother.
not true. Not true. Well, sitting here on YouTube is very tiring and exhausting. I tell you, man.
Oh, yeah.
It takes the great out of me. I need the energy.
Yeah.
So how's everyone else doing on the panel? I know Dave's doing good.
Pretty good.
Wait a minute, I got to run in the house to take macaroni and cheese out of the oven.
I was like a dog. I couldn't look at it like this.
Well, that's why I like being self-employed and being semi-retired. I tell the customer it'll be done when it's done. I'll call you when it's done. If you don't like it, there's the shop down the road.
That's how I work my machining stuff.
Nope.
Some people just really don't understand how long some of this stuff takes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's the thing is that's the thing. I like taking my time so that way I don't make mistakes. I don't have room for error, and I'm not under the gun. So that's the thing is I see peer pressure at the shops all the time. The shops that I go do stuff for and diagnostic and programming for, it's just some of the stuff is just stupid. Like there's one shop the managers keep always coming out 20 minutes right now, come on, 20 minutes. And every time I walk in there I want to just grab him by the ears and slam his face into the ground. It's like, dude, look at the poor guy. He's covered in grease, covered in dirt, sweating his balls off, and he's up to his wrists in Ford crap. You ain't gonna get it done, that job done in a day. Like I've sat there telling you, you're not gonna get it done in a day. Well, I don't know why it can't be.
What's that?
Oh, shop managers and ticket writers pushing
Oh yeah, like I said, we run the show totally. We run the show totally different now. They talk to us about when we reasonably think a job can be done by.
Yeah, I get stuff where people drop off parts they want machined and stuff, and they're like, "Oh, I'll just stick around for the 20 or 30 minutes this will take." And I'm like, "No, this is a 4 or 5 hour job."
Mhm.
What kind of stuff do you work on?
I work on a lot of pumps. I rebuild hydraulic cylinders. I do a lot of field welding. Rebuild electrical motors. You know, just general machining and stuff like that. Weld build up and turning down new shafts and stuff.
You don't have anything to do automotive work?
I don't do much automotive. I used to do more, but when you have a shop the size of mine, I kind of had to choose between the machines, the size of machines I wanted to do the machining to get that going more than the automotive stuff.
Yeah.
So,
Because he was leaving, and then
Good machine shops for automotive are hard to find in my area.
I think that Alex was.
There's a lot of machine shops out there, but there's a lot of hack machine shops out there too.
He was like, "If it's him, he'll stop."
yeah, and there's a big difference too between general machine shops and automotive machine shops.
Like we had an auto shop or an automotive machine shop. We had a customer with an older Chevy truck that wanted his engine rebuilt. And we said we'd take it on instead of buying I told them they should have gone with a crate motor, but I don't know how it went down to the point where we were going to do the rebuild and then pay a machine. Well, we were going to take the motor out, and we were going to take it. We took the heads off of it, and the customer first they took the heads off. Then the guy the owner called back up. Then he wanted his lower half done. That's what happened. So then we got the heads back before, and then he's like, "We want the lower half done too," and we're like, "Shit." So we pulled the motor, and we sent the motor to the very same machine shop. Now they did a wonderful job in the heads. The heads were fine. But just for shits and giggles, when we got the engine back, before we assembled the heads back on it and the intake and all that, it was supposed to be a 30 thousandths overbore. So I measure the cylinder, with my inside micrometer. I check it all, and I'm like, this is like 33.5 thousandths over, pushing 34 thousandths over. And I called the machine shop up and I let them know. I said, "You overdid it. This thing's going to have blow by. The rings are never going to, the seat, but it's going to have blow by." And they're like, "Well, no, we bored it 30 thousandths over. It's going to be a little bit more than the 30 thousandths because, after we bore it, we got to hone it." I'm like, "No, when you hone it, you should have honed it to that 30 thousandths. You only bored it to like, I don't know what would you say, to 27 thousandths, 26 thousandths, and the other 4 thousandths you'd probably hone out."
Yeah.
You
That's
get
usually
that nice finish and all that.
around there.
So then we had to go back with the 40 thousandths overboard. And they did that right. But since then, I found a young guy. Well, he's not that young, but he's younger than me. That his dad used to own a full-blown engine rebuild shop, machine shop.
Yeah.
And his dad had a heart attack, and they went out of business. And his son kept a good amount of kept all the equipment to do head work. Basically, his cylinder head work, like resurface a head, pressure check it,
Pull back up.
do all the valves, do everything that has to do with the head.
You drive me crazy.
And this guy is unbelievable at how good of a job he does. And the first few times we used him, I finally had to tell me, like, dude, Mark, you got to start charging us. I said, this is ridiculous that you just redid this cylinder head and replaced all these valves because they were bent for this little four banger. Did such a beautiful job on it. All you want's $145. I said, you don't even want to know what we charge the customer. I said, charge my boss. I said, charge my boss like $285. Well, that's highway robbery. I'm like, no, it isn't. That's what it would cost if I took it to another machine shop, if not a little bit more.
Yeah.
So we've been using this guy. The turnaround's awesome with him. I could take a head off on the engine if I had to. I could take head off on the engine on a Wednesday, have it off by, say, 2 o'clock in the afternoon. He'll either have it back to me by 7 p.m. that night or first thing the next morning.
Wow.
All fixed
Like-
up, redone, ready to go.
2 weeks. And
That's
then
awesome.
when we take a head off and take it to the shop, it's 2-3 weeks before we get it back.
That's what I'm saying. Normally you have an issue when it comes to that.
Yeah.
If you get
No,
in
no.
with a really good shop that has a lot of good, setup pieces for common heads and stuff, those guys can really dial it in and get it done quick.
Well, the machine shop that I donated all my tools to and helped the young guys start out, he's still using my old Van Normans. So when I used my old Van Norman to redo the 2.4 block. Those Van Normans, they're pretty much indestructible. They're easy to get. They're great. They're easy to use. And I used to actually carry those things around. Like if I knew I was going to be doing an old Cat or something or an old John Deere, I'd throw it into the back of my truck, drive it out there, strap it onto the block, bolt it down, and bore right there on the spot with the thing. 220 pound machine, drag it out in the field, do it. But that's the thing is like all my boring equipment was Van Norman. I had a cam bore, like portable bore for that, and that's like
On Google.
like he's got all this fancy brand new computerized stuff in the shop. I walk in there and I look all pie-eyed at it going, no, I'm going over to my corner, okay? I'll see you later. But it's actually like there's a lot of precision. You got to stop and gauge everything, but automotive machining really isn't that hard compared to machining specialty parts and like the stuff that Small Town's doing. Some of the stuff that he's doing requires a little bit
The
more.
tolerances are a lot closer on other stuff. But yeah, all my portable cylinder boring stuff is all Van Norman.
Yeah.
Awesome stuff.
Oh yeah, and you can get
Rock
those old
solid,
machines.
very repeatable.
Well, they're so damn good that the Chinese are still manufacturing the exact same model, same quality, and selling them for $200 a unit now. Like, but the old Van Normans, you can usually pick them up at good sales and auctions, good price, and they're worth every penny.
I gotta buy me a new chair here. This chair sucks.
Like,
Yeah, I'm sitting in a Mac Tools, like just regular camping chair. And
My back broke on my chair.
by the time I get up, my stinking butt's hurting, my legs are hurting.
yeah, I'm in the same thing, legs.
Yeah.
I think I got these free off the side of the road one day.
There you go.
No, but machining, you can make really good, steady, constant money, and like there are some machines out there that can turn out more money than most automotive shops can if they've got a good rhythm and a good customer base.
Oh yeah.
Mostly if you can do line boring and line welding, if you've got a good setup for that, heavy equipment guys will love you day in, day out, day in, day out.
I have a line boring setup, a portable setup, and I prefer to bore it out and turn new bushings and press them in than bore welding, because especially with positions of the grease zerks and stuff. You can set some of them up for a skip and stuff like that. But
Yeah.
I just prefer to turn bushings out of, really, really good steel and
Yeah.
press them in.
Yeah. When I first started doing line boring, I'd have it all set up and it had the little hand crank, and you sit there and you do the skip manually. Okay. Take button, figure out the trigger. Okay, pass, go again. And then I got one of those new fancy ones that's got the little motor and the little all the buttons and gauges. It's like, oh, I love it if I could figure out how it works 100%. Bring out the hand crank. Go back at it.
We're not showing.
Yeah.
What's the daughter up to?
How do you,
We're trying to figure out what kind of car this is. I was going to show you guys and see if you could tell us.
No, got to show now. Dad's mentioned it. You have to show it, young one.
how
Come
do you,
on.
Turner, how do you make it show the names and not show the names?
Oh, okay.
What kind of car is that?
It looks
It's
like
a green one.
It's a
brought that
Honda.
up.
I just can't remember the name.
Honda the Soul?
Is it a Dassault?
Is it?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
Look
that
up
could be a
look up
Dassault.
Dassault. If that's what it looks like.
Just so.
Yeah, look up East Coast Ken. And he just did an oil change on one. It should look a little bit like that, or
Yeah.
very much like that. Yeah, Tarek just answered it.
Yeah, Dassault.
Yeah.
Hey, Derek.
Dassault.
Yeah, CRX.
How do you look at
Thank
Turner?
you, guys.
You can see the names of everybody here on the screen.
Thank you.
I couldn't figure it out. It made me mad.
Do you hear me, Turner?
No, I don't hear you.
How do you how do you make it where it shows our names under us, our pictures, or it doesn't show our names?
Oh goodness.
What was that? How do you want to show what?
Our names, like under our
Oh, you got to take you got to unclick the text, the chat. So
You had
click
it on
the
there a while ago.
No. Just click on the chat that's highlighted in the chat bar and take it off. Now click on it one more time.
No, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about underneath.
On the picture.
Yeah, when you get rid of the chat, our names come up underneath.
Oh, because I
So
thought
click
there
on
was
chat.
Oh,
See, there you go.
Okay,
Badoom.
I see that.
Oh, so it's the only way you
There's
can
a
have
way to
names
take
up
it down
there?
too, isn't there?
I not sure. I've never tried that.
So it's one or the other.
Now, if you don't want people to see your name, just tell them to put a piece of black tape over it. Okay. It's kind of like the check engine light thing, you know.
There you go.
No, don't worry. I'll get rid of that check engine light. I'll just crack the bezel off, put some black tape in there or some black nail polish, put it back on. There you go. No check engine light.
Check engine lights, what a pain in the ass. Worst thing that ever happened to me. It makes me so much money, it's not funny.
Not like the good old days. You just had to wait for it to start making a funny noise and smoke coming out the rear end to know that there's something wrong with it. But
Yeah, so that guy that put that distributor in his Camaro properly,
yeah,
He's got wanted to drive my car.
he broke it back. Now it says it overheats. Like, you never asked me for anything else. You just told me get it started.
overheats. Huh? I don't know. Thermostat
Fan
issue.
doesn't work. The fan doesn't work.
Yeah, no fan.
Yeah, electric fan's not working.
Ah.
I ran it for a few minutes tonight before I left, and I realized it's like starting to get very hot, and the fan isn't running. So
Yeah.
I'll check into that Monday.
He's like my age.
Once you get used to it, it's easy.
Just wire the fan directly to the thermostat sensor, and it'll come on automatically. Bypass it. It'll run it through the thermostat sensor, bypass everything else.
You gotta do it on the road.
Easiest way to do it on old cars.
Yeah.
Let the thermostat switch be the switch for it. Don't let anything else control it.
Just put everything on a toggle switch. Want
Yeah.
the fan on?
Yeah. I actually used to have tractors like that for the auxiliary fan. Okay, it's starting to get a little hot outside. Hit the switch. There we go.
I wonder if Jude's coming on tonight. Kinda early. It's kind of early for him on a Saturday, isn't it?
Yeah, it is a little bit early. So I was digging through one of my boxes and I actually found one of the first things that I made with my grandfather. This is my first actual splitting. This is for doing cedar shakes. But I made it a little too thin. No. This was one of the first tools that I ever made with my grandfather. Except for I made the axe a little bit too thin on the end. I've had to straighten that out a couple times in the past. I forgot I even had that thing until I got to the bottom of the old tin box. That was still half full of water. It was like, ooh.
A question came up earlier on the stream about rust-proofing vehicles. Do you guys do any rust-proofing of vehicles in Canada?
Yep.
I use Crown Rust-Proofing here, and that's Canadian-based company. Are you familiar with it?
Yeah, I'm familiar with Crown Rust Proofing.
What do you think of their product?
Eh,
Think it's better, or it's better than fluid film, or no?
it's better than fluid film, but there's other products better. So,
What would you say is better?
one step rust converter. You can spray it on fresh, brand new metal, and it will penetrate the metal, saturate into the steel, and prevent rust from ever happening. And if there is any rust, it will turn that rust into a hard as steel surface that will not rust and break off. But one plus is
I know
hands down.
there's a shop around me that's an oil-based rust proofing that's trying to get a hold of it, and they claim it to be the best. They currently are using fluid film, and they claim the fluid film is better than Crown Rust Proofing. I think that's reasonable. I think they're basically the same product.
Any product that just on the top.
It's made by the company that makes PV Blaster. I think it's called Surface Shield.
No, that's the thing. That's the thing. All these products are made to only sit on the top of the steel. When you can get a product that actually saturates, because metal and steel is porous, and chemicals will saturate into steel. And when you get a product that will actually penetrate into the steel, it's a far better product than something that sits on the top, because you scratch it off, you accidentally wash it off, you scrape it off, you hit it with something. Now there's a weak spot in it. But if you have a product that penetrates into the steel and protects from the inside out, that's the better product. That's where rust converters on even brand new steel still do a better job than any of these fluid films or anything over top of anything. Even the Rust-Oleum rust converter will do a better job than anything that sits on top. Because
Yeah, it'll kind of etch
penetrate.
into the steel.
Yeah, that's right.
I just looked there.
Whoa,
Won't that
that's a nice one.
can you use that rust converter on painted surfaces?
No, you got to take the painted surface off. And then you put paint over it. But the bonus is, though,
Would you be able to spray it on the inside of rocker panels and stuff?
only if the rocker panel is prepped and cleaned. You have to remove the surface. And then you spray it, but it also acts as its own primer. So you don't have to reprime it. You can actually paint right over it, and the paint will adhere to it just like primer. Or you can put your rocker guard over top of it. I would actually recommend people 4x4 and wanting to really do their vehicle up nice is clean out your your rocker panel or your fender, clean it out real good, scuff it up good, hit it with some rust converter, then hit it with some rhino hide, and that rocker panel will last for an eternity. That they will outlive you. So,
What's up, dudes with wrenches?
did you see that? Lakes is showing us his true nature. He's brought out his old rusty meat cleaver.
Yeah.
Now we know what he does in the basement.
When I see that, it reminds me of the movie Gangs of New York. I like this old knife though.
Oh, cool.
And it's got like Mexican writing on it.
Thanks for jumping in.
That's the kind of knife that if you don't want to stab him, you can just knock him out with the back of it.
Yeah,
That's what it looks like. It looks like a little head thumper.
yeah.
That's pretty cool.
A head thumper.
Yep, like a
Who speaks Mexican? What's that say?
who speaks Mexican.
Or Spanish? I don't know if you mean it. I don't know what it says.
I know
It says
exactly what it says. This knife killed Arkansas Dave Rudeball.
You never know. Maybe that's the knife that killed Davy Crockett.
Crocodile Dundee.
I
That's
just,
no
watched,
one
I
knife.
just watched that the other night. I just watched that the other night. The one. What's the odds of getting out of here with that jacket?
Yeah.
Better than average.
Yeah, I haven't seen that in years.
I watched a bunch of old shit the last few nights. Watched Roadhouse again the other night.
You have
Yeah, Roadhouse is good. A polar bear fell on me.
Yeah, polar bear fell on my.
It's a movie.
No, it's because there's no good movies on anymore.
my medicine. And you said,
No.
I'll tell you what. A lot of the movies that come out, and a lot of them that happened, like were being filmed during COVID. That movie with Tom Hanks that was being filmed during COVID, and it came out. COVID was still an issue. Was it called Greyhound? Where he was like on a ship. I'm trying to remember what the name of the movie was. But I watched the movie, and I'm like, all of a sudden the movie ends, and I'm like, what the fuck was the point of this movie?
Yeah.
I'm still like waiting for it to get good, and I'm like shocked because it's Tom Hanks. I mean,
Feel like you got robbed of 2 hours.
yes,
of your life.
Greyhound. Terex just said, yes, it's Greyhound. I'm like, the movie just didn't seem to have a real good. It just didn't have a good storyline behind it. And I think it cut it short probably because of COVID, and Tom Hanks himself got sick with it. But Coming to America, the new Coming to America, was quite the disappointment.
Yeah.
I was
I watched
expecting it to be I was expecting it to be funny or funnier than the first, but then I shouldn't have because a lot of remakes
Yeah.
are never as good as the original.
Well, the best movie I've watched recently was last night, and it's I think a Swedish film or that. It's called SISU, Sisu, and it's a World War I kind of thing, World War II kind of movie. but it's this guy that's out mining for gold, but he used to be this really trained elite killer. And these Germans are trying to steal his gold.
That's still in the theater, ain't it?
Yeah, a lot of stuff I watch is still in the theater. But I watch pirated movies. But no, it's a good movie. It's a good movie. It had action. It was, and there's like little, like next to no talking. Like action movies that have as little talking as possible, but more action. That's the stuff I like. It's like if it's gonna be an action movie, I don't want to hear some drama story. Just start killing.
Well, Tarek, since you got Greyhound, what was your thoughts on that movie, Greyhound? I fell asleep to a movie last night. You got fucking nothing. You got nothing. You got nothing, man. I want the fucking dog dead. I want the family dead. I want them dead. I want them dead. They got nothing. What movie?
Oh god.
Sounds like Scarface or something.
Casino. Or something with Joe Pesci. Something with Joe Pesci.
No, it was Al Capone movie.
Al Capone.
Yeah, they had everything. That's why he wanted everybody dead.
Yeah.
No, I thought it was Joe Pesci because I'm just picking Joe Pesci. You want a piece of me? You want a piece of me? You know who I am. You know, I'm his friend. You know, I'm going to take my pencil and just stamp. I'm Joe Pesci. I do a good Joe Pesci, I
Joe
tell you.
Pesci is one of his craziest movies, I think. It has to be, it has to be Casino.
Yeah. Okay.
I agree with Tarek. The storyline of Greyhound is great, but the movie didn't do it any justice. That is well said. It's a good way of explaining it. The movie, I just kept, okay. Was it De Niro in Untouchables? Yeah, it probably was. Untouchables. I know it was Robert De Niro.
I'm gonna jump off here. I'm gonna lay down. I'll be scrolling the chat, watching in the chat.
So it'd be like, with it
Y'all,
called
good night.
stalking us.
Yeah, I'll be
Have a
stalking.
good night. Nice seeing you, buddy.
Have a good one. Oh shit.
How you doing, gentlemen?
That's a long 20-minute drive.
Well, it's LA. What are you gonna do? You know, you never know what the traffic's gonna be like.
I hear you. Doing good. How about yourself?
Real good. Real good. Not a terrible day.
There you go.
How's everybody doing tonight?
Oh, pretty good. And you?
I'm doing good.
Doing good.
Right on. Right on. Boy, the longer I smell coolant, the more I'm just waiting for it to pop a hose and wet down the.
What do you say?
But I'm still not looking forward to turning the dash out.
You got a leaky heater core? Is that what's going on there?
How's that?
You got a leaky heater core? Is that what's going on there?
Yeah, she's leaking. First, it was a fan clutch. I let it set for a few weeks because I had another car to drive. I still got another car to drive, but god damn it, I like my truck.
Hey.
It works for me.
I'm gonna order pizza tonight. Pizza.
Turner, are you 3D printing screwdrivers or what?
No, this is they start off as babies, and when you start feeding them, they slowly grow into full-grown screwdrivers. These are U-grow screwdrivers.
Oh, mine multiply, but it always costs a lot of money.
No, these are my new kit quick. My all Canadian screwdrivers.
How are we gonna get the grinder moved?
I got a visit from the Amazon ferry today.
Yeah.
Brought me, they got a vessel ball ratcheting ball screwdriver on there for like $12.99 right now.
I'm so sorry that I broke your machine. I wasn't wanting to go.
And I got me a set of JIS screwdrivers.
Nice.
One thing I didn't have was a good set of JIS drivers.
These are the screwdrivers that make the company that makes my teeny turners. So. Apparently, is one of their biggest sellers right now. For the last 2 years, they've actually been selling a lot of them, which is good. But no, they're a company. They're a company here in Canada that makes they're 100% made in Canada, and they make a screwdriver a multi screwdriver for every trade, every industry, with every bit that you can imagine, and all their bits are impact friendly. And like these ones here are for electricians and electrical work because they're small, like the actual bit pieces.
Mm-hmm.
But you also can get bits that are like that for doing your tire valves and valves and stuff like that in them. And some of the screwdrivers, like this one here, it comes off, and you flip it around, and it becomes an extension for your other one.
Do they make voltage rated ones?
Actually, they do have a couple that are made for electricians that are voltage rated, and that they do have a couple of them for that are insulated. But the nice thing is, though, they're a really good multi screwdriver. Everything's always tucked away. They've been in business for about 45 years, and they're an American product. That's the thing. They're made in Canada, but they're still an American product. So,
North American product, sir. I support that.
yeah, like, that's the thing. That's why I love them.
You know, I just got my first Tulsa tools in the mail today too. That's probably Canadian, Taiwanese via Canada, but I was impressed with
sausage. Then Eagle wants cheese.
I don't know if you've got any experience.
Last bottle beer.
The last bottle?
Yep. No, it's ordered. What kind of wings? How hot? Boneless.
Hey, Dave.
Back. I just
In the fridge.
something in the oven. I took it out.
And no refrigerator, please.
Why does everyone else have kids and we don't? I'm feeling left out. I gotta go kidnap the kid to be on my stream now.
I got kids, but they're not on my stream. My kids are probably doing things I don't want to know about right now.
I personally,
And wander in from time to time.
I do not have children.
Mine grew up, became a lawyer. Now she's going to sue me.
How do you get your grass cut or your laundry done?
Well, Mrs. Frosty and I got married in our mid-40s, and neither one of us had any children. So we'll find somebody we like and leave them everything I'm not taking with me.
Yeah. Either that, or you could just live the way I do. Hearses don't come with U-Hauls. Don't get anything that when you pass away you don't have to worry about.
No. I'm getting a Connex box, Turner. A Connex box, big one, like a 50.
So you're gonna have to find an heir. We're gonna have to make a TV show about it. You know, who's gonna become Frosty's heir this week on Netflix.
You know, the race car, guns, motorcycle, all that shit's going.
Sounds great.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's what your brothers and sisters are for. They're supposed to have the kids so you can live the freestyle life and leave it all to them, right?
Hey, I'll tell you what, I've got a niece and nephew, and that nephew of mine, I am damn proud of him.
Yeah.
Yeah, they say every generation should get better. He skipped ahead a couple. He is a damn good kid.
Nice.
Firefighter, just like his dad, and hell, he's accomplished. What do they call that when the ropers? When you got a healer and a what the hell do you call that? He does that roping. His sister does barrel racing.
Yeah.
They're not quite rodeo, but it's something else. Some kind of cowboy sport.
I know what you're talking about.
A header and a healer, where they go and they catch the calf and they have to rope it into submission. He does that.
Yeah.
I have 4 kids, and I hope one of them will do good enough that they'll be able to carry me, and I can just retire.
There you go. I should have had me a whole army.
No. I got one daughter, but she became a lawyer only so she can sue me for all the times I grounded her.
Yeah.
And she's smart enough. When I go senile, she's going to put me in a home. That's exactly what she's going to do. There's no way she's going to let me live with her. She loves me, but she don't love me that much. It's like,
Adam,
you're already
I'm a lady. What part of the country are you from?
Me?
Adam,
Well, I'm originally from Alberta, a small town called Tomahawk.
Oh, okay. And you're in Canada now?
Yep.
Okay.
No, I grew up in Tomahawk, moved to Calgary, then from Calgary to Chilliwack, from Chilliwack then to here, Victoria. So
Very nice. So what? You're doing engine machine?
nope. I do heavy equipment mechanic, and I also run a construction company. So.
Oh, okay.
And Adam's the small machine shop guy. He's the machine shop guy. And Dave, well,
and I'm in Washington State.
Isn't what you were just talking about? Is that Rossi? What you were just talking about? Is that like
Where Adam's working out of?
Header and a healer? Isn't that just like considered team roping?
Mm-hmm.
I think.
And I think that the header has a softer rope than the healer, or
I believe so.
they have 2 different ropes.
Right.
I know I've seen it. I've seen it before.
Well, I haven't made it to one of those competitions just yet, but I do try and make it to the drag races when when my niece was getting her license, and I go for my brother.
Nice.
And Dad's getting pretty old, and it's about time for him. It's hard for him to run up in front of the car and back him up and do all kind of stuff now. So they're kind of looking to me to take over.
Yeah.
He actually, I was like floored. He sent a brand new dart block and a set of pistons and a crank and stuff down here, and he says, "I don't want to do it anymore. You put this one together." Wow. He's never had anybody build an engine for him.
Wow, nice.
But fun stuff, family stuff. Yeah, Dave, I ended up getting that toolbox. I couldn't help myself.
Yeah.
It's a 40-inch flip lid cart. The snap one.
Mhm.
No
Nice.
interest on the account, but it's going to cost me $2,200.
Nice.
Speaking of
What's
toolboxes,
box?
especially quick wrench and turner and stuff like that, you know, the Snap-on boxes are very expensive. Around here, there's a local sheet metal shop.
Yeah.
You can pick your own slides, pick your own latches, and for
Yeah.
like $3,500, $4,000, you can pick the gauge of metal you want, the powder coating you want, and all that, and have a custom-made box for the
Yeah.
same, you know, for much, much less than a lot of the Snap-on boxes and stuff like that. I'm surprised more people don't see that as an option.
If you want a box like you're talking about that's already made though in a good price range, I personally don't like the layout. I wish they made one bigger. I guess I could always buy two of them. I'd still be way ahead of the game. But it's just a layout that I didn't care for 100%. But they've come out with newer ones since I first saw them. But I'd have to say Tecton makes a reasonably priced box. It's very good quality.
That's a Canadian-made box.
Yep.
I believe
Well,
it's made in Canada.
The last time when I first looked at them, they never had a 60-inch box that was 30 inches deep. Now they do.
They're the ones that make my cabinets. The same company that makes those make my cabinets. These are the same rollers. These are like
Explain them. What are those rollers?
those are actual bearing rollers. Like they're actual steel bearing rollers, and each bearing itself is rated at 400 pounds.
Now is that the same equipment they're building the Mac Tool HD series boxes with?
I don't know. I haven't taken a look at those yet. I haven't taken a look at them.
I believe it's the same. I believe it's the same slide. And who makes the slides for those?
Those are all made, all stamped out here in Quebec, actually, in Canada. Like they're heavy slides. Like these cabinets were designed for holding part storage for big machine shops, bolt supply shops, and that. Each drawer was designed to hold up to 600 pounds of steel inside of it, and and the drawers slide in and out, open, totally full with no problem, no fighting, no struggle, and the locking system automatically locks when he closes it. This is a system that's been being made up here in Canada since the 60s. The same design, like.
And once you get over $5,000 for a toolbox, here you can go to a sheet metal shop and they can make the custom drawer sizes you want. They can make a toolbox exactly what you want, powder coated, the thickness of metal, the slides, the latching stuff, all for a fraction of Snap-on.
Well, see that the one problem is people don't like waiting for stuff, and they don't like having to design stuff. Yeah, that is pretty much the exact same system. That's a lighter system. That one's a lighter duty one. That's probably about a 400-pound slide.
I think
they are 440 pound. Yeah, the small ones. Those are the smaller ones. Those are half the size of the ones that are on my cabinet.
I like this toolbox too. And I'll be honest with you, there are a lot of similarities between this box.
Yeah, probably made by the same place. Wouldn't surprise me a bit.
But
because that actually almost looks like the kit. That almost looks like the Canadian Tire one that I showed you. That Mastercraft Maximum that I ordered. That looks identical to it, except for a little bit shorter. Almost same layout, and it's made by the same company.
Yeah,
even the handles are the same, and the top, like the handles on the top, and the drawers. Yeah, everything about it looks identical to that Canadian Tire one that I showed you. That 4,000.
I wish they made this in a bigger platform.
Yeah, well, only a matter of time because it looks identical to the Mastercraft, and the Mastercraft one is 72 inches. And it's that Canadian Tire one is 72 inches. It's $4,000, but it's a nice box. It's heavy. And the other thing about these ones here for your organizing, those slots on the side, there's actual dividers that lock into those slots. So you can actually put dividers in your drawers, solid steel dividers, like 16 gauge steel dividers in your drawers to separate everything. Here, I'll show you.
That's cool, Tarek. Yeah,
Here.
it's amazing what you can get from custom sheet metal shops.
Yeah. But like that's the thing. It's the reason why a lot of people don't want to go down and do custom stuff. They got to sit there. They got to design with them. Then they have to wait for it to be made. People want stuff right now. And Snap-on does make a hell of a box. Do I think it's worth the penny the charge for it? No. Is it? It's probably one of the best boxes on the market. Like their boxes are damn good.
Yeah, but
And,
they're not
but to me, they're a status thing.
it's not worth well, you're not that you're going to pay that, but there's the list price on a 84 Epic Snap-on.
Yeah.
Bottom cart or bottom cabinet is like between $18,900 and $19,900 just for an 84-inch bottom cabinet.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Like to me, owning a Snap-on toolbox is it's a great box. It's damn good, but to me, it's just a status thing and a bragging rights thing. Like that's all toolboxes have become lately. It's just a pissing contest. When
Well,
at the end of the day, you can hold
You
your
can buy
tool
the Snap-on
you want to, you're
box
happy.
things online and put it on your custom-made box, and then you'll be just as cool as everyone else.
I wanted to say, hey, I have a Snap-on box, and it might just be a punk ass cart,
Yeah.
but I can say I've got a Snap-on box.
Yeah.
At $2,000, I got out cheap, I think.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
No,
for sure.
You know,
Like that. That's the thing is, if you have the money, yeah, go for it. If you want to do it, do it. I'm not going to tell you no. I'm not going to tell you can get a better box or just as good a box for less. It's what you want. Like it comes down to what a person wants, what a person's preference is, and like I myself, if I had money to justify spending on a Snap-on box, I would probably buy one. But I can't. I just can't justify.
I have a
kind of-
Snap-on box, but I didn't pay. I don't have a lot of money into it.
Yeah.
I bought mine was a used box. Every part of my box was used. The side locker was used, the hutch was used, and the main box was
yeah. If you're
Now,
gonna
did you
have
buy it off? Did you buy it
you're
off
gonna have-
used off the truck, or did you buy it off a like marketplace? Or
off the
something?
truck.
Oh, yeah. I've heard of. Now I don't know if this is true.
I paid $2,500 cash for my bottom box, my main box, which is a
Is it true with Snap-on or other tool trucks that people on Craigslist or something can sell a used truck that or a used box that has a, still owed to the tool
Yes,
truck, and they can
yes.
come and claim it?
yes.
Uh,
I mean, it'd be hard for them to find you if it was in your house, though.
Yeah.
You know how they find you and catch you if you buy a used box off, like say Facebook Marketplace, that the guy took off and still owes, say, $5,000 on.
Mhm.
The next Snap-on dealer walks in and says, "Oh, I see he's got this box here he just bought. Didn't buy it off of me. Where'd he get it from?" And he goes and gets the serial number off of it. He runs it and he's like, "Oh, I can repo your box, dude." And you say, "No, you can't. I just bought this." Well, no, we got legal papers that show there's money owed on it, so we can repossess it.
Yeah, see, the beauty of mine is on
Used box. You've been buying a used box. You should contact Macco, Snap-on, or Mac Tools in some way, shape, or Cornwall in some way, shape, or form or another to make sure that that box is not. There's no money owed on
my
it.
first,
Yeah.
my first real toolbox. When I was working at the machine shop. I was 17 years old, and I bought it used off the Matco truck. It was an old Matco, probably a 36-inch bottom roller, and I paid $900 for it. You know, it was an old one, but all the drawers worked. It rolled good. It was a little beat up. I won't lie. It was a damn fine box for what I. and I put, the midsection and the top from my Craftsman deal on top.
Yeah.
And I worked with that for a long time. If I was going to get a real high-end box, it would definitely be on the used market. I mean, there's no way to justify getting into a Master Epic, brand new truck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't see anybody could justify that unless it's a tax write-off.
It's getting windy out though. Stormy.
And there's still
Those boxes are extremely expensive. So are Matco's boxes. They're 6S's. Those aren't cheap either by any means.
Over there, and I'll watch with you.
And the Maximizer series boxes aren't cheap by any means.
They're in the shop.
I'll tell you, the boxes,
They're all up there with each other.
big Matco boxes are really sexy. But I've got an old Matco I'm trying to restore here. I'll probably do a video on it one of these days. I can find a bunch of drawer pulls and stuff, and we'll sand her down and do a little Bondo and primer and paint. I need like a 70s era period correct box to race car trailer with our front engine dragster, and that's just fine. I need the box where the top folds down and covers all the drawers. It's like a Mac Allied, Matco. I like it. The only thing is, then they did weird shit, like they put built-in dividers in the drawers. And it was kind of odd.
They did that shit because they saw Texas throwing they had junk drawers.
Yeah.
So now you're going to spend 20 grand buying a box and get all these dividers in to throw nuts and bolts and shit in it.
Ugh.
I'm not going to do that. I think.
Oh,
Yeah,
and
it's called speed drawers, like Tarek just said.
and I'm looking for.
Now, I don't know how true this is. I heard a rumor that Tarek's buying a Boeing 757. And he's going to get it all restored, and it's going to be his mobile toolbox.
Yeah.
It's just a rumor, though. I don't remember.
My tool hoarding has gone beyond the point of it fitting in even multiple toolboxes.
You're a tool hoarder?
Oh yeah.
I think we all are.
Yeah, I have over 100 half-inch drive ratchets, and
I don't have 100 half-inch drive ratchets, but
I'm a big yard sale and estate sale and auction guy.
I, for the most part, only have what I need and a little bit more than that.
Yeah. Oh. Wow, I just learned something really cool because I was looking at the company that makes my storage bins in Quebec. They own, because Lista and Vidmar are now manufacturing the exact same boxes, and those ones are made in the U.S. and imported from Canada. And some of their products are made with global materials, but Stanley Black & Decker owns them. So all those toolboxes that Tecton uses are being manufactured literally by Stanley Black & Decker, well, a company owned by them.
I actually just got confirmation on that Boeing 757 project Tarek's working on.
Yeah.
Right now, it's getting a custom paint job. It says it's going to say T6 Force One on the side.
Oh my God.
I'm only joking with you, Tarek.
Yeah.
Don't take it personal. No, it's a joke. It's a joke between me and a friend of mine. It has nothing to do with Tarek.
Yeah.
But one of my buddies, I'm not going to get into too much politics on this one and say who I do and do not believe in or like or what side I take or whatever. But he says, my buddy says, Trump doesn't have a complex of any type. I'm like, he doesn't have a complex of any type. He lost the presidency, claims they cheated, gets his 757 revamped, redecorates the whole interior of it, gets a custom ass paint job on the outside of it, and calls it Trump Force One. And you're saying the guy doesn't have a complex. I mean, I guess that's normal behavior for an ex-president. Trump Force One. I'll be honest, it's a hell of a nice paint job on the plane. I don't know if you guys have ever seen it. It sounds like a little bit of a complex to me. You have over 300. How many ratchets do you have, Adam?
Oh, a lot.
Derek's got up to 300 now.
It's
That's more than I have.
I go yard selling and estate selling every weekend. Like, okay, besides the stuff that's in my toolbox, I got in my shed, like 5-gallon bucket wise, I have like a bucket and a half of American made 1/4-inch sockets. And it just becomes it's insane. There's no reason to have as much as I have, but the used tools are so cheap here. It's unbelievable. I can go to the flea market and I could come home with 20, 30 snap-on wrenches for $2 a piece. There's so many used tools here. It's just crazy.
Wow.
And I have hanging on my wall, I have over 500 American or SAE wrenches, and I have over 200 metric wrenches. And it's just crazy. No one here wants used tools. If you go to a sale or an auction and there's brand new Cobalt or stuff like that, people are buying that. They're not bidding on the Black Hawk or the, old American brands.
Jesus. That is so interesting to know.
What's that?
Oh, the company I buy my cabinets from, they've changed their name to MSK, but the brand was actually made between two companies that used to be Canadian and New York City, but one of them's moved to PA, which is at Vidmar, and the company that stayed in Canada has now changed themselves, but they're all owned by Stanley Black and Decker. So
Decker owns a shit ton of stuff.
Yeah, but that's the industrial. But Vidmar, since the 1940s, has been making all the storage solutions and that for the U.S. military, law enforcement, and all that
Vidmar
stuff.
makes good stuff.
But they're the exact same product as MSK, but MSK is now just MSK. It used to be Montreal Steel, the Montreal Steel Corporation, and they used the same patent. They were the same company, just on different sides of the border, making it. Like they were literally the same. They were sister companies. but one was all Canadian, one was all American, and they were the ones that made, like up here in Canada for the Canadian Police and Armed Forces, it was Montreal Steel Corporation, and downstates it was Vidmar, but they're all actually owned by Stanley now, which is hilarious. And you want to see a heck of a steel tool cabinet? Hey, Dave, you've got to show this thing. You want security on your toolboxes? Dave, oh Dave, God, man. And you can get the same setup from Vidmar down stateside, so you don't have to get it from Canada. And they're going to be cheaper than a Snap-on box, but hey, man. So there you go. If you guys want those same boxes that Tecton's making, go through Vidmar in PA, man.
Vidmar makes nice stuff.
Oh yeah, they're heavy
Now,
stuff.
a lot of their stuff is, you know, the boxes will each have the same drawer size all the way down and stuff like that. So.
But well, the thing is though, they made storage tire racking, multi-level tooling, like lot of naval fleets and stuff like that in the ships. Those multi-level drawer systems. Those were made by Vidmar for the U.S. and in Canada they were made by MSK. But wow! But when Dave gets back, he's got to show this thing. And this thing, and it's up here in Canada. It's only $13,000 for this thing. This thing is, and it's got button locks for the cabinets. Like a code lock for the cabinets.
The good thing around here is the nuclear plant close by.
Yeah.
They send so much brand new stuff to auction. It's you know, on one hand it's like, hey, you guys are wasting a lot of government money, but on the other hand it's like, hey, this stuff's really cheap for us, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of Vidmar stuff shows up from the government auctions here.
Now that Vidmar stuff, if you can get your hands on it, take it, man, because it's solid. It's solid product. Yeah. Hey, Dave, share what I've.
What were you talking about with the security? I heard you as I was going into the kitchen.
Share the image. There you go. There's a tool system.
I've seen that system in dealerships. I've seen that system in dealerships in a version of black.
It's only like $16,000 for that thing.
I've seen that like in Mercedes-Benz dealers.
Yeah,
but in
it's
black.
cheaper to buy this, and you can get the same one from Vidmar in the U.S. for a fraction of the cost, and I think that's far superior than a Snap-on in many ways.
Well, like I can't speak. I'm pretty sure it's probably gonna be like that throughout the country, but I know a lot of your Mercedes-Benz and BMW dealerships. And now some of your Honda dealerships are even supplying the techs with a solution like this, where they got all the specialty tools and all the shit that they need.
Yeah,
are in boxes like that, and they look just like that, except the ones I saw in the Mercedes dealer, they're black.
Yeah. So there you go. Optional storage solutions for your shops and your home shops. Down in stateside, go to Vidmar and look them up. You're going to get a hell of a high quality product.
Oh yeah.
Isn't that what the U.S. military uses too for most of their storage? And
Vidmar. Yep, they use all the Vidmar stuff. Yep.
Yeah, government uses a lot of it too.
Yep. And they're the exact same thing that MSK has been making up here in Canada. Exact same product, because they were sister companies that went a long time ago in the 40s. But now MSK's changed their name thanks to Stanley. They're no longer the Montreal Steel Corporation. They're just MSK now. But damn it. And for a fraction of the cost of a Snap-on, you get all this with electronic security locks. Not getting Dave's tools now. You don't know the code.
Oh, there's will, there's a way. I can break into anything.
Yeah, it's crazy the stuff we see at the government auctions here.
That's just
Okay, like
no.
I gotta say, this is the biggest one. This is a 3-inch
That's your 3-inch. Yeah.
Armstrong wrench. I
Yeah.
got from 2-inch to 3.5 for $2 a wrench.
Wow. Jesus Christ.
Where's
Yeah.
Frosty go?
I have no idea. He's probably still driving somewhere. Just lights are out. Do you know how much I just finished replacing my 5-inch slugger? Do you know how much that 5-inch slugger cost me to replace?
Oh, sluggos are expensive.
$2,000. $2,000 to replace that thing.
I got sluggos up to, I think 3, and yeah, they get expensive quick.
You see, up here in Canada, what are all the old tools that the military and that had and the government had, they just get sent to a recycler and melted down. We don't get a chance to buy them because they find more value in the steel up here than they do selling it to giving us poor, unfortunate Canadian souls a chance to have good stuff. You know, it's evil. Like I so wanted that tank, but nope, they melted it down. Down in stateside, hey, Abrams tank, yeah, we got one over here. Come on. No. No.
Yeah, a lot of my big heavy stuff has all come from the government auctions from that nuclear plant.
Oh, cool.
It's crazy what brand new 150, 200 horse motors still in the crate and everything, and this absolutely is what they waste.
See, that's where you're lucky. Your government auctions down there are so friggin'. I actually bid on U.S. auctions because of the stuff down there. We can get cheap enough and justify bringing it across the border on a truck, but it goes so fast, and just goes. You got to be on the ball with it. But you guys got some wicked stuff down there at your government auctions.
I've hit a lot of auctions and a lot of pawn shops and all that shit around here. Pawn shops around here know what they've got. They know if they got the Snap-on and certain tools. They don't really let them go that cheap.
No, not here either, because they assume you're just going to trade them in for new. So here they go for 75, 80% new.
Yeah, about that 70%.
That's what it is up here. Like, there's no warranty on it anymore. There's no like that's the thing is like that's the thing is up here in Canada. Anyways, a lot of the dealership, a lot of the truck dealers, like our Snap-on dealer, unless you have a receipt for it now, or you didn't purchase it from him, he's not going to warranty it because he doesn't know if you bought it used. And Snap-on doesn't want to warranty tools that you purchased from someone else. It's apparently becoming like the warranty only extends to the original purchaser or the receipt holder, and that's how it's becoming up here in Canada on everything now.
Well, that's how it's always supposed to have been with Snap-on, but
Yeah.
Non-transferable.
my tool dealer will warranty anything I give him.
Yeah. But
Thankfully, that I don't buy any tools off the truck, but the Snap-on guy has like a 10-acre farm, and I take care of all of his pumps and everything. So we have an understanding.
you want fresh water? You give me deal. You replace it now.
If I bring a few things in and I don't abuse it, I understand that, he doesn't make any money off it. If I bring in a few things here and there, he has no problem warrantying it.
You made it home.
Thanks for carrying that.
And actually contacting Snap-on directly with tool replacements, I've been very pleased with their warranty stuff going that route. Same with like Rigid.
Ooh, a floof.
I don't think want babies with it.
Yeah.
See, you don't need kids. You got a floof. Floofs are all you need. You don't need kids when you have floofs. Oh, another floof. Look at that. You got a Sockers like me. Blue eyes too. Oh, just like my boy. Long lost relative. Socks, I found your cousin. Get over here.
I got 2 of them.
You get 2 what? Cats?
You say cat?
No. Frosty said he had 2 of them.
Can't hear you. Your mic's off or not working.
Mine?
No, Frosty's mic is off. I can't hear him. Technology is supposed to make our life easier, but it's complicated.
The mic isn't connected. Now it's connected.
Ah, there we go. Now we should be able to hear him.
Hello.
There we go.
Did you see what JWC said?
I did not. Tecton toolboxes look nice. List of Vidmar, Lion are comparable boxes, but different manufacturers.
Yeah, they're different manufacturers, but they're all the same patent, all the same design. It all started back in 1940.
Lion's been around forever.
Between a New York company and a Canadian company to start manufacturing for the military and the government. And then they became a consumable product for industrial shops and suppliers. They make tire racking solutions that are multi-level and stuff like that. They used to make this big tool cabinet that had like 8-foot deep drawers that you'd roll the drawer all the way out. And then you'd walk up a set of stairs and there'd be another set of drawers on top of that were 6 feet deep. And you have a little 2-foot walkway. You pull these drawers out, and then there'd be another drawer inside the drawer. So it had 2 levels in it. And you'd have all your different parts in there. And you could have every part for every piece of equipment that you needed in your shop. And that's what.
Yeah,
But
Lion
they're-
used to make a lot of roll carts.
Yeah.
Love
I think Lion is more an offshoot though from Vidmar. I don't think it's actually. I think it's more or less a offshoot like copycat.
Yeah.
Because Lion were always the smaller stuff. They never made the big heavy stuff.
Yeah, a lot of their roll carts were only like 3 or 4 drawer and stuff like that.
Yeah.
They were popular in a lot of older machine shops.
Who's making the Husky boxes? That's Montezuma, right?
That's a big question. I'm still trying to figure out.
Husky boxes, but I can say this much about the Husky boxes, and I can't speak for the Pro Series ones. Just the regular series Husky boxes.
Yeah.
Quality greatly varies from
Yes.
box to box. From box to box.
Yes.
I've heard that.
So the quality control sucks.
Well, I think they're getting them from different manufacturers.
Yeah.
You know, like I have a 24-inch deep Husky box. It's only 36 inches wide. That sumbitch was indestructible. I've still got it, and it's in real nice shape. That's why I'll never part with it. But I've seen an identical looking box that is completely clapped out and flimsy and shaky and terrible. I think they're kind of hit and miss by the model, but if I look at mine, it looks just like a Montezuma.
I don't know who makes them, if they're all made by the same manufacturer. I have no idea. I just know it seems to be like quality. Like, you ever see, you know who Midwest Tool Review is?
Yeah.
James?
Yeah.
We had a guy that owned that very same box at our shop. And he didn't even have close to the amount of weight in the one big top drawer that I know James has got in it. And James seems to be holding up. It's not even, doesn't appear to even be rubbing the drawer below it when he opens and closes it. The guy worked with his eventually started to totally sag and it started to collapse.
Really?
Then one day it ripped off the slides and fell right out of his box. And I'm like, I actually told him, I like, look at this guy. He watched his like toolbox review. And he's like, how in the hell does he have all that in there? And it's not a problem. I said, he's obviously got a better one than you had.
Right.
There was something wrong with the one you had. His is fine. Yours isn't.
Now I know my my Harbor Freight box, what I think it's a 56-inch Series 2. That long top drawer in mine has easily got 200 pounds worth of sockets in it. I mean, rails stacked up on top of rails, right? And I haven't had a problem with it. I have not had problem one with it, but I've heard of other guys' boxes where they just don't hold up. And I'm in and out of mine every day.
I haven't seen too many problems with the Harbor Freight boxes, the U.S. Generals.
No.
I don't
I got
buying one. I would never buy another one for the garage. So I'll say that right out front. I wouldn't suggest that to anyone. There he is. I think for the home garage, that General is a great buy, but for a professional box, I wouldn't buy another one ever.
What Diabolical here saying is very accurate information.
Now that Series 3 is just smoke and mirrors.
That is very true, John. If you load up the long drawer, top drawer, you load it up pretty good. When you open the box, it will rub the drawer below it. And I've seen it on multiple occasions.
The Montezuma boxes are big in the farm and irrigation business, and they're overpriced for what they are.
They are.
Yep.
They are. They're nice. I don't like the look of them. I don't like that.
Yeah.
Lunchbox top. I don't like that.
Yeah.
I had one of the Montezumas. They said that it was road truck ready and capable, and it actually fell apart really fast. It did not take the abuse of being in a truck.
Did you have
I've definitely seen that, John. I've seen it in person.
They claim a lot about how waterproof and stuff they are, and they're really not that super waterproof.
Well, that's the thing. The slides after 2 months of having the thing in the truck, literally the bearings had collapsed and popped out from the shock of going up and down. Like my cheapo generic Binford has outlived that. The Montezuma has actually outlived a lot of boxes for what it is. But I was not impressed with Montezuma one bit after that. Like I spent a lot of money on that thing, and they're like, "Well, nothing we can do about it. We're not going to warranty it or anything." It's like, dude, your box. You said it was truck ready.
Yeah.
The drawer, the bearings have collapsed.
Yeah, they advertise them a lot for being, tools can bounce around all day long. 7 days a week and stuff like that. No.
I don't think you would want bearings in a box like that. You'd want a conventional slide, wouldn't you?
Yeah. That's the
something
thing is that conventional roller slide is far superior. But unfortunately, not many companies that make road boxes, like even Snap-on's truck boxes, are still ball bearing slides.
Right. That's a bunch of little parts in there getting ready to get beat out of it.
Yep.
At least 4 companies make Husky tools and toolboxes for the Home Depot in Taiwan and China. I thought most of their stuff came from Apex Tool. Husky.
Well, they're owned by Stanley Black and Decker, Western Forge, Apex Tools, Iron Bridge Tools, and stuff like that, and Iron Bridge products. All are black are all stuff that makes stuff for Husky.
It's hit and miss too. But I went for quite a while on Husky tools around the plant. I didn't have hardly any problems with them. There wasn't much I had to warranty.
Over there. Over there.
But size wise and quality wise, you could tell you did not have top shelf tools. If you had to put the open end of a wrench on something, or let's say a hex bit, it was kind of iffy. Now around there, when I've got something shitty and rusty and nasty, I go into the good box. I get the right wrenches. Right with a W.
So what I can find, the Husky brand toolboxes, like the normal ones, are made by Apex Tool Group. So whoever their manufacturers for their toolboxes
Could be anyone.
would be
Apex Tool. It could be anybody.
yeah, it could be
got
any
a time that can do it fast.
fine. For their Husky Pro though, I don't know who's making those. Whoever's making those, they're not like if they're a Taiwanese company, they're one up from Icon.
Yeah.
Like those pros are nice, well built, heavy, like they're good solid cabinets for what they are. But
I may get some stuff out of one of the aerospace companies down in Orange County here. I know a guy that works for them, and one of his jobs is to get rid of stuff that they throw out. And I may get a couple of cabinets from him. I may not, but I may. And one of them is a Husky Pro, and it looks like a really, really nice setup.
Yeah.
About 50 inches wide with a side cabinet, top and bottom.
yeah,
And there's a 40-inch and two 26-inch snap-on bottom rollers down there. They look like, I think, Classic Series. And I guess they're throwing this stuff out and replacing it with stuff like Dave was talking about, where you either have like a face recognition or a fingerprint recognition to open them. Instead of having to issue keys, they want to be able to dial the parts manager or technician's info in the box.
I think it was Turner that was talking about that.
Was it Turner talking about that?
yeah.
That's awesome.
Okay, I think that's what they're trying to go to now, and they're trying to get rid of their old stuff. And obviously, if they've got 20-inch rollaway, they've got some pretty old stuff in there, or it's from a department that doesn't use that many.
Okay. Got ranch.
But that big red Husky thing you sent a picture of is really nice.
Oh,
There. Oh, it's blowing the gate open.
What is that behind you, Adam?
That's one of my boys.
And the machine behind him, is that a boring bar?
No, that is a 4-foot arm radial arm drill.
Wow.
Not just waiting for the day that you post a video of you pulling home an old Iron Duke. I'm still waiting for that day. It's going to happen. One of these days, you're going to get in the truck and bring it home.
Yeah.
I have some very big, heavy machines in my shop. Considering I'm in a residential area.
Now, you were talking about doing line bores and stuff like that.
Yeah, and I got a big old Camelback I'm going to set up for doing line boring on like back. I re-ear a lot of backhoe buckets and stuff like that. I'm going to set it up for that.
Nice.
And like the lathe that phone's sitting on right now, it's a 22 by 120, a 14,000 pound machine.
Oh, nice.
And this is all in a residential garage in my area.
Do you have a phase converter and run one at a time, or do you have 3-phase?
Yeah, I have a rotary phase. I have a 20-horse rotary phase converter, so I can make my own 3-phase.
I got you.
Some machines I have on their own VFDs, because especially on a drill press and stuff, a VFD can really make that machine twice as good as it is.
Yeah. We got a lot of stuff on VFDs at the plant. Conveyors, even the fans on our evaporative condensers, our cooling towers, those are on VFDs.
Nice.
You know, they're tricky though. They don't like interference.
Yeah, no, they don't.
And the varying load can make them trip out too. You know, it's all in the settings. You know, if they get input from the other end, they start tripping.
My rotary converter I had built up because I'm in the residential area. I was having problems with it dimming the lights in my neighbor's house when I was turning certain machines on.
Cool.
So I transferred some machines over to the VFDs to not be such a nuisance.
I could have just saved yourself some time. Get some really old steam equipment. They used to make a real good line boring that was steam run. Really good one at one time.
I was going to get a steam engine and put a line shaft. Some of my machines are like really old.
Yeah.
I was going to set up a line shaft setup. I have a planer from like 1870s and a few other machines that are really old. I thought it'd be really cool to have a line shaft setup for those, but it's not real practical for a lot of stuff.
I never did run a line bore. I did line honing. We had a Sun and line hone machine, and I did a whole shit ton of blocks, but I never did have access to a line bore machine. That would have been nice. The only thing we couldn't do was like some of the old Buicks and Olds where they had a different size rear main than the rest. Then we'd have to send them out.
What's line honing?
Well, when you're
choking
out of true, when the main saddles and the block get
I know it's for the cams and the crank.
Instead of cutting the caps and
Yeah,
cutting the hole with a machine, you got a stick with a bunch of stones.
It makes it perfect.
Yeah, but it's tricky. I mean, you know, a lot of guys, if they've got one hole that's coming in too fast or too slow, they start loosening caps and shit. You know, I was from a different school where you just keep flipping the block back and forth, flip it around, and running it low load until everything comes out the same side.
I'm still trying to figure out how when you steel shot rods, you make them stronger. I mean,
Oh,
when you shoot rods with steel.
Yeah. You know, the idea was to polish all the stress risers off and then beat the shit out of them with steel shot to compress the surface. You know, you're almost like hardening the surface, changing its makeup a little bit.
Trying to make them forged, but not quite really doing it.
Not quite really doing it, but you're doing something. But I mean, anytime you've got a rod that's broached for the rod bolt head instead of spot faced, it's a moot point anyway, because you got a giant stress riser built into it right at the weakest point, you know. So some of it you got to kind of think about what you're doing. Are we doing this just to make money and let the customer feel better about it, or are we doing it because it works?
Yeah.
You know,
I got my movie lined up for tonight.
Oh, what are you watching?
I have it. I'm gonna watch Boondock Saints tonight.
Sweet. I watched
It's been a
Runaway.
long time since I've seen that movie.
We got slow, and I watched Runaway Train at work. That was an old one.
I still got some collectors that work on old cars, and I occasionally pour Babbitt bearings for the main bearings and stuff.
That's a lot of work.
Yep. Yes, it is.
You only got one shot at making that thing straight and round.
Yep.
The first time I did a Model T, I about and a bag of shims. I said, "You got to be shitting me." We had one come in with the upper main had been galled out, and there was a piece of belt leather in there.
Yeah.
We figured out it was old beat up belt leather that somebody stuffed in there. Some of the shit they used to do, but it worked.
Oh yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
they've changed the babbiting material quite a bit, where it's mostly tin now. But
Yeah, it's not gold anymore. It's white.
yeah,
The last one I saw done, we had two identical motors come in, and they were there for over a year. Now, shit, this was 30 years ago now, but 25 anyway. Yeah, 20 or 25 years ago, but they were 12-cylinder Packards. They were I want to say they were, monoblock, flathead, 12-cylinder Packard engines. They were gigantic. They were auto engines. They weren't, military engines. They were, had to be late 30s Packard. And the crankshafts were huge. I mean, gigantic. The castings, because it's a one-piece block. Your head's only, 2.5 inches thick. All the material was right there in the block. And I remember my mentor, he was putting this one together, trying to get the crankshaft to turn. And he had a hell of a time. I think he spent 2 weeks dicking with that thing, filing on it and sanding on it and grinding on it and just tweaking with it and taking the crank over to the straightener and bringing it back. And he used every trick that he had to get that thing to turn.
Yeah.
But he finally got that crankshaft to turn nice. Now, another guy who was supposed to be this Packard specialist came in, and he went to put his together. And when he got the crank in, went to put the rods and pistons in, you had to put a breaker bar with a 3-foot cheater bar on it on the crank bolt to get the crank to turn. And he thought that was acceptable. I mean, that was nuts. But a lot of work went into putting those things together back then. Those guys knew what they were doing. I thought the Model A's were a trip. When you've done a few Model T's, then you see an A, and it's like being thrown a curveball. It's like, hey, this thing's got an oil pump. No shit. It's still no rear main seal, but it's got an oil pump. I don't know where it pumped the oil to. Maybe just to the gauge. No, nothing went to the top. I used to love working on that old stuff. So we had Jay Leno down here. We'd get stuff in from him in a while. And we had another museum down here. It was called the Nethercutt Collection. And he had all kinds of shit that was really, pre-1930.
Well, you've dealt with Jay Leno before?
Yeah.
He's a pretty down-to-earth, pretty cool guy, isn't he?
I never dealt with him personally. The closest I ever dealt with him is, working on his stuff at the machine shop. I never personally spoke to him. Now, my father is a musician. He was in the Tonight Show band for 22 years. He dealt with Jay Leno.
Yeah, I've met Jay Leno before at the North American Car Show here in Detroit, Michigan.
He's pretty much a regular guy.
He's like straight up down to earth guy, man.
Made a lot of money.
If he isn't, he puts on a good act. I'll tell you that.
Made a lot of money in Vegas. But
he showed up in normal people. I mean, he's just wearing a fucking pair of, I think they were a pair of Levi jeans and nice button-down shirt. And
if you drive around in Burbank on the weekends, your chances are you might see him. Cruising around in one of those old cars. And he's got a lot of stuff. I mean, that collection is just insane.
He made mention one time, I think, before he left the Tonight Show, that he never spent any money he made on the Tonight Show. He saved all of that, and everything he ever lived off of and spent came from his shows in Vegas.
That's probably true. Now, he lost that at one point. They were going to give it to, I think, Conan O'Brien. And, I won't go into, how I feel about the guy personally. I think the show kind of cheapened when he got it, but it was a different era, a different time, But there was a little bit of a controversy behind that, how he ended up getting it back. But he had a good run on that show.
Yeah.
We lost Adam.
Yeah, what happened to Adam?
You didn't even say goodbye. He hurt my feelings. Bad Adam. Bad Adam.
Don't tell anybody you got feelings, Dave.
They'll be all over me on YouTube, man. Then I'll have to get like nasty, be out there like, fuck you and fuck you and fuck you.
I want him dead. I want his family dead. I want his house burned to the ground.
But I'm not mad.
I didn't know there was drama on YouTube until about a week ago.
I want the fucking fish in his tank dead.
Yeah.
That's easy. Drop some bleach in it.
Oof.
That's funny.
That is funny. How many cars do you end up seeing this week, Dave?
Me personally? I'm trying to think. I looked at the report right before I left, too. I think I worked on like 23 cars this week.
God damn.
Jesus. Don't worry.
How much diag work this week, though? I did a lot of other bullshit.
They're keeping you busy.
Yeah, I did a lot more suspension and front end work and dealt with a lot of rust. A lot of fun stuff, man. I probably still have, I don't know, probably enough to clog up my little net in my shower with what's in my hair still. So I got to shave it back down again.
I need a haircut in the worst way. I just need a day off where I don't have to do anything and I can go over there and get one.
No. My little girl's coming back home this week. I got to I've got to straighten the 4-way bucket again. They bented all the beans, pulling stumps with it. They just open it up, drop it over, and start ramming it back and forth. I got to redo a bunch of the bushings on it. And on the one side, and I got to replace the tracks on the other side. But no, my little girl's coming back home this weekend.
I didn't see that JWC, that episode you're talking about. I'll have to keep an eye. I'll have to look for that.
170 miles an hour, huh?
Jesus.
Those things weigh 4,800 pounds or something like that. I mean, they're insanely heavy. And they need all that horsepower.
That's insane.
I'll tell you what, when they go to electric, they'll find a way to outdo it.
Well, I had to do an alignment today on a Z06 Corvette with, what is it, that supercharged 6.2 liter that's like 650 horse. And my store manager, she's a female. It was a friend of hers, a close friend of hers car. And she's an idiot. She's so impressed by it. She talk about licking things. If it's got money, she's gonna lick it. But I mean, we won't go there. And Jamie, if you're watching, I'm so sorry, girl. I really don't love you, but you're all about the fucking money. Like, it makes the slightest little noise when you do this or do that. So she has me driving and she's in the passenger seat. And she goes, "You gotta be careful with this thing. This thing's got a lot of power." I'm like, "Well, no shit, it does." And we're test driving. I'm being real cool with the Corvette, right? Test driving, being real cool. And all of a sudden, I hit this one back industrial road. And she goes, "No, this road's real smooth." She goes, "Listen carefully." She goes, "You'll hear the little creak noise once in a great while in the rear." Well, I already heard it. And I didn't give a shit about hearing anymore in the test drive. It just sounded like a dry joint somewhere in the back of the car.
A little squeak.
Oh, yeah. And all of a sudden, I just fucking punched it. We're going like 30, and I just fucking punched it. Ass it. She goes like this. She goes, "Dave, stop!" I didn't stop right. Ass end of the car is all over the fucking place, but I'm going straight, right? I finally come to a stop. And she goes, if you ever do that again, I'm gonna, and I gunned it again.
Awesome.
I tapped it again. And I stopped. I looked at her, started laughing. I said, "You're gonna what?" Just get me back to the store. I was laughing my ass off. I thought it was funny as hell.
Hey, look, Fluffy's here. We've got a Mexicanic in here.
Do we know Fluff?
Yeah, he's some guy that says he's a Nissan tech. I don't know about these Nissan techs. I don't know.
The Fluffy?
I don't know Fluffy. I think this guy could be a fucking troll.
I don't know. Yeah, maybe we should put him on a timeout. I don't know. Right? How you go? No. No, we got a YouTube star amongst us now. Uh-oh.
Fluffy!
Absolutely horrible, Fluff. Absolutely horrible. We're all three of us are like in misery right now.
Yeah.
Time out. I'm laughing my ass off. Time him out. I'm joking. He'll be like, "Damn, those fuckers really time me out."
Oh god.
Nothing happened. We're joking.
Yeah. What happened? Nothing happened, Fluffy. You're okay. We're just messing with you.
You gotta be careful. Mess with Fluffy.
Yeah.
Shows up late. He doesn't know what we're talking about.
I don't remember what we're talking about.
We were talking about me pissing my the Corvette drive.
Always best to make the client piss themselves.
Well, just out of curiosity, Tarek, why did you bend your dick in half?
Well, see, Tarek just.
Shit, you know, if you bent your dick in half, if it was in the right situation.
Well, see what I've actually seen the video before Tarek took it down. He got himself a sheep, and he forgot the rubber boot trick and the Velcro gloves, and so the sheep backed up into him too fast and hard, and just bent it on him. You know, because you're supposed to put the sheep's feet in the rubber boots with your feet so it can't kick you and back into you, and the Velcro gloves are to keep a good hold onto it.
I always thought you had to get them close to a cliff so they'd back up. That way it felt like something was really going on. I'll tell you what, though, man, Turner, that was the worst thing I've done today or yesterday. Getting into a Z06 Corvette that had 650 horsepower just makes me want to build some shit or buy something. Mid-age crisis. I just want to like go like hell. My truck's too fast for me. I get tickets in my truck all the fucking time. And I talked to the officer so nicely. I'm like, "Yeah, I understand. I said, "Dude, I'm you're doing your job. I was wrong. Anybody could call it impeding traffic. Call it a day. That way I don't get my fancy attorney to go fight with you guys and get it dropped down anyway." And we're like, who's your attorney? And I just throw out name. Next thing they come back up to the car with an impeding traffic ticket.
No, I had a sports car when I was young, and I learned my lesson.
Eight or nine tickets. I've had 8 or 9 tickets in the last like 15 months.
Well, this is why I'm glad I drive a 6.5 diesel. There is no such thing as a speeding ticket. Chug, 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 chug.
I haven't got a moving violation since I parked my Harley.
I don't go that fast. I keep it under 95.
And that's really not that fast these days.
No, that's why I want to know how I always get pulled out of the group.
Yeah, it doesn't
A group
make
of freaking cars. I can be in a group of cars.
Because they scan your license plate and they understand that you're a Pollock, and they just can't have that, Dave. It's discrimination, I tell you. The cops, they just hate Pollocks. They do.
No. Well, I'm Italian too, so that could be a problem. I'm a 50-50.
So you're damned if you do, damned if you don't.
They probably run my plate. They probably, even though my attorney says no, they don't see it. They probably see I had a driving while visibly impaired hit on me when I was like 22 years ago. I was 26 years old when that happened. I actually got stopped for drunk driving, but I mean, it got dropped down to driving while visibly impaired, which is like the lowest charge you can get hit with in the state of Michigan.
Yes, it is.
I had a radar detector, and some asshole broke my window and took it. I had a, what is it called, escort passport or whatever. I don't give a shit. The radar detector goes off. Doesn't mean you're going to get stopped.
No, it could be somebody else's radar detector. Oh, Kitty.
What's doing?
Hello, Kitty.
Doing? Say hello. Say hello. Say hello. No, don't want to say hello? Yes, I love you too. I'm going to eat you. I'm going to eat you.
I used to have a Crown Vic. I had like a ex Riverside E Crown Vic, and it was a nice one. It was like an 03. It had all the trick stuff on it, the giant brakes, you know, the 17-inch wheels. It would go 147. I can verify that, but I didn't drive that hard. I was always in traffic, you know. But I would get pulled over for bullshit stuff just because they wanted to check out who was driving that car, you know. And I had it painted all black. It wasn't black and white anymore, but I made the mistake of leaving the spotlights in it, you know, so they'd see it and they'd want to know, you know, who was driving it.
Yeah, Bluff, that's probably your mannerism as you're getting older now. You're real honest about everything. And you just got that, you know, innocent, cute little, hey, I'm Fluffy the Mexicanic face.
What are you doing?
The opposite, just like, hey, dude, you got to slow down a little bit, man.
Hi, Scary.
Either that or you feel sorry you're driving a Chevy. One of the two. It's a cobalt, too, isn't it? I think the officer knows you have a stink one out. That's what it is, Fluffy. Feels bad for you.
What you doing? You're my camera shot. Okay. You be nice, Tiny. You be nice. I got cat in my mouth.
What about those apps now you can get on your smartphone that tell you where the officers are supposed to have been reported to be? Do any of you guys trust that?
No.
Was your Equinox covered under that extended warranty, Bluff? With the program?
Does anybody else get 3 calls a day telling them that their vehicle warranty is expired?
I get that. I get that on a vehicle I don't even own anymore.
Yeah.
On my 2003 Chevy Impala. That car's been gone for years.
Yeah. Are they kidding? I guess there's somebody that's going to bite, or they wouldn't be doing it.
No, I just keep getting these phone calls from American phone numbers that keep telling me about some U.S. tax rebate that I qualify for yet. I'm in Canada.
Yeah, they're asking me. They want me to choose my Medicare benefits. You know,
What about was it camp? What is it? Camp
Lejeune.
Lejeune.
Yeah, that's the
I
biggest.
get those calls all the time.
Big scam. I'm getting on the freeway at about 40%. Uh-oh.
Got a Fence 500 stick. And you just got the car back, Fluffy.
Intake
Just
leak.
got the car back and you already broke it. Damn it.
Intake leak, Fluffy.
On the Equinox, might have a cracked piston, or one that's starting to get ready to crack. If it's a 1.5 liter, I've had a lot of those come in my shop with cracked pistons, misfiring, running like shit.
That's not good.
Now they're having some serious problems with that 1.5 liter. Stupid, shitty design.
Well, there's been a few of those the last 15, 20 years.
It seems like every one they design gets worse.
The accountants are doing most of the design now.
I get a lot of 1.5 Malibus, Equinoxes, all that with the PVC system isn't working. There's actually a PCV valve that you can actually open and replace, but it's inside the back underside, inside of the valve cover.
Oh,
It's
no.
stupid little orifice and a stupid little plastic piece, and it gets clogged up with carbon. But you got to pull the rocker cover or whatever you want to call it, cam cover, whatever, off the engine. Well, they're direct injected, so you got the injection rail in the way. You got to get the coils out of the way. You got to get everything else out of the way.
All to
And
do with a 10-cent PCV valve?
yep,
Wow.
plastic little PCV valve in there that has a slight little, small little bullshit orifice hole in it, and it clogs up. And if they let it go too long like that, then it blows out seals, rear mains, and front mains, and
We had a guy years ago. So I was at the machine shop, and he had a checker cab. And I forget what year this thing was. It was an oddball, but it was a 283 Chevy. And I guess the original ones had a road draft tube, right? Instead of a PCV valve or anything like that. The early ones, they had an oil bath air cleaner.
Yeah.
They had a draft tube that just kind of dumped whatever swill it was puking out right next to the transmission, you know, just like a little header that went off the back of the block. It went into the lifter valley with like a little baffle, and then just like a little 1.5-inch pipe that went down and, you know, puked oil on the ground. And I don't remember what they did, if it must have been clogged up. I don't know if the baffle was clogged up or if they just put a freeze plug over the hole and shit canned it. They might have just put a freeze plug in that hole, but he didn't have any PCV in there. The valve covers were, you know, solid stamped Chevrolet valve covers. It was bitching. It was all period correct Rochester 2-barrel or no, it would have been a Carter 2-barrel back then, maybe. I don't know. It was all old stuff. And it was making a weird hissing noise at idle and low RPM, just a weird, like high-pitched whistle. And the guy couldn't figure out what it was, and he brought it back to us. And my buddy Steve figured it out. It was the front seal whistling from all the shit blowing by it, because there was nowhere for the crankcase pressure to vent. It was just pissing out the front main seal.
Well,
Leaking a lot of oil, but it was
well, you had the 2.4 Ecotech that GM's PCV would clog up on the intake manifold, which had this small little hole in the plastic intake manifold, clog up with carbon.
Ooh.
They fixed that problem. They redesigned it. They come up with this new 1.5 turbo, and they put this stupid little plastic valve on the inside of the valve cover that's steel. That pays like 6 or 7 hours to take off, because you got to pull the high pressure fuel injection rail out of the way.
Oh.
You got to disconnect the high pressure fuel feed tube, which technically you're supposed to replace every time you connect and disconnect it. It's not supposed to be reused. And it's just blah, 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 blah. By the time you get everything off, it's a stupid little plastic thing you pull out. You look at, yeah, it's clogged. And you blow air through those couple ports in the valve cover and make sure that's clear, and put the new PCV in and put it all back together, and wait another 30,000 60,000, 70,000, whatever miles. It depends probably how they take care of the motor, and it'll happen again.
Nice.
We're hitting the 2 hour and 36-minute mark here.
What makes them coke up that bad?
I don't think it's a I think it's just the orifice is too small.
Yeah.
No.
Probably lack of changing oil leads to some of it. Going a little too long between oil changes.
I believe that. I believe that when we were
I mean, there's a lot of motors out there that get a lot of bad shit said about them, that I really don't believe they're as bad of a motor as people say they are, because ones I see with the common failures everybody bitches about, when I start taking them apart, it's pretty obvious they weren't cared for that well.
Yeah.
True. Very true. There's some lemons out there.
But one thing I've noticed on newer vehicles, the piston rings aren't as hard as hard as what they should be.
And they're a lot smaller.
A lot to go by. A lot to go by.
They're quite a bit narrower than they used to be, too.
Yep. Even the valve materials, I've seen a lot of new cars with the valves just deteriorating rapidly. It's like when I look at them, it's like converting a truck over to propane without swapping the valves.
I agree with Tarek on this point right here. So you tell a customer to change their oil every 3,000, you're lucky to see them every 5.
Yeah.
So the factory says 7,500 or so, or when your little stupid warning gauge comes back on or whatever, if it's been properly reset, whatever, the whole 9 yards. I think it's far too long. Condensation, 7,500 miles is far too long if you're doing short trip driving and never really warming that vehicle up and all that stuff.
That'll do it.
You got all that condensation that builds up inside the motor, and where does that all go? It goes through your PCV system. And people say, how does that happen? Well, because it's sucking air from the crankcase. Everything's got to breathe.
You're getting everything that's burned off from the crankcase on all the shit.
Your engine's got to breathe. Your tranny's got to breathe.
Yeah.
Your rear diff's got to breathe. Your front diff's got to breathe.
Everything's got a breather in it.
I see a lot of Honda rear diffs on like CRVs and all that shit. Some Toyotas that they'll come to me and they'll be like, my axle seals are leaking again. This is leaking. I just had all this shit changed, blah, blah, blah. And they got that stupid, it almost looks like a screw and PCV valve, kind of a roundabout way. Sometimes you can't even access it without lowering the diff out of the vehicle a little bit. But it's a stupid little metal breather in the top of the diff. Well, here in Michigan, with the road salt and all that bullshit, it gets all caked up, clogged up, so the vent's not working. So your rear axle has no vent anymore. What's going to happen? It's going to build up pressure.
Puke oil.
Yeah, it's going to push oil out the seals.
Yeah, either a wheel seal or a pinion seal.
It's going to blow it up. It's going to blow it out the seals.
Yep. Yep.
I think I changed my oil in my truck about between 3,000 and 5,000 miles, and I use full synthetic.
I own a Chevy. I don't do oil changes. I just add a quart every week.
Hey,
Well, 2 hour and 40-minute mark. I'm going to end it in a few minutes. There are still 2 seats backstage. If anybody else wants to jump in and talk for a little bit.
Ooh. I think this guy here should be the deal of the week. Look at that sumbitch.
What is that?
Yeah.
One of them vessel ball-shaped screwdrivers.
Ah, okay. Yeah.
$12. I had a set of vessels at work that I really liked, and I saw this thing for $12 on Amazon. I was ordering some stuff for work. And I said, give me that. Let me see that. The bits are magnetic. Feels good in your hand. Oh, I guess
Shannon. Well, everybody say their goodbyes to the live stream. Anybody wants to jump on back stream? There's still 2 more seats. So come and join us. Thank you, everybody, for jumping in and talking.
hell yeah. Good night, everybody.
Y'all have a great night. All keep being awesome. And remember to smash that like button for Dave, or I'm sending Chuck Norris after you.
Chuck Norris is a pussy. Y'all have a good night. Good morning. Good weekend. Good start of your week. So everybody have a good one. Thank you.
Be good to each other, folks.
Yes.
Try and be good to each other.
With that said, Quick Wrench and the boys are out.